Good morning. Welcome to the space where we reimagine Africa and reimagine living. It is Tuesday morning, a gloomy Tuesday in my neck of the woods, and I hope it's sunny wherever you are. And if it is not, I hope you create sunshine in your heart. Guys, I want you to surround yourself with people who give you energy, not drain you. I just didn't realize how much I have solved this problem in my life until I have conversations with other people. Then I realize sometimes I'm starting to take it for granted, right? Surround yourself with people who give you energy, not drain you. This is something that I have known for a long, long time. Instinctively, I knew it. My hair is like interesting today. Instinctively, I knew it. I have always known that the most important thing is to surround yourself with people who give you energy and not drain you. People who are inspirational, people who are just looking for a way to raise up your vibe, people who are looking for ways to just, who are just interesting, who are in touch with themselves, who know who they are, who know what they want. And even when they don't know what they want, they know that it is important for them to give and not just to take away from you. And so this is really a time of year when I say you might want to get new friends. Yes, you might want to get new friends. How do I know? I know because once upon a time I was in your shoes. I knew that I needed new friends. And this time of year is a good time to find new friends. A good time to find new friends. In other words, to say that I am fine hanging out by myself if that's what it'll take. If that is what it'll take, I would rather be by myself so that my energy is not sucked away from me. Okay? That's how important this is. That's how important this is. Let me tell you something. This year, I did something. I did a thing. I decided to sign up for Jacinta's class. It's called Self Love and Relationships. And it's basically about feminine magnetism. And, everyone talks about getting feminine energy and showing up in your feminine. And that's basically showing up open, loving, kind, and not really, taking care of yourself, right? And as soon as she started the class, I recognized real fast that I needed to see what kind of circle that I had around me. And what I did is I stopped communicating, stopped going outward. Good morning, Rono. It's good to see you. Hi, Sarah. I stopped going outward. I stopped reaching out. I started more internalizing actual conversations that I was having to see who was reaching out to me. And I discovered that I was carrying a lot of people. And I could have been carrying them because I chose to carry them and it was a burden on me, or I thought that we had a different kind of relationship and it was not reciprocal, right? And many of you have been in this space. Many of you have been in this space. And I just wanted to see who is going to reach out to me first. Who is going to reach out to me first? Who is going to be consistent? And one of the things you have to know about me is the 4 women who are closest to me, I probably talk to them 3 times a year each. Yeah. These are people who give me a lot of energy. We're good friends. We've been good friends for a long time, but we live in different cities. And we do not talk like every week. We don't talk like every day or even every month. We reconnect when it's time. And I recognized real fast that those 4 people, they stimulate my mind, they inspire me, and they invigorate my mind in the way that they lift me up. I can always go to them when I need something, and they always know to be there when I need them. And I do the same for them. It's so easy. It is so easy. Now, those are individual friends. Then there's the collective, the group of people that you are part of. Everyone wants to belong to a specific group of people. People who are like them, people who, the group does not mean that these are your best friends, but the group is just a group of women who you basically just know well, right? And you know that they might be on the same path as you. And you know that they might also be resourceful. You want to help them also because you are resourceful. That there's an even kind of exchange, not even in the sense that if they give you this, you must give them something of equal value. They just know it's even, you give and they give. You receive and they receive. So there's a balance there. Now, here's the deal. Most people do not have that circle. The circle that they're involved in is probably sometimes family or old friends or people who gossip about them or people who take from them and don't consider that there's a problem with that. And if you are the person who is in this group, it is time for you to restructure your connections and friendships. Restructure your connections and friendships. This does not end well because you will feel depleted in the end. It doesn't end well. And it is time for you to take a look and say, number one, I know for sure in the grand scheme of things that there's a plan for my life. There's an amazing plan for my life. Get in the business of understanding what that is. What is the plan for your life? And usually people call this purpose, right? What are you here to do? What is your assignment? Are you in it or are you still waiting to jump in? If that is you, it is time to now first look at that because that is directly related to the connections in your life. When you are misaligned, you are constantly around people who are misaligned. They belong to someone else, not you. When you are misaligned, you are walking outside of what God has for you. Then what is happening is that you are with the wrong people. And you're constantly feeling like, just really uninspired. Why are they behaving this way? Why are they taking so much? Why are they giving so little? That's exactly what's happening. And for me, this happened in 2018. I was sitting over here one morning. I got up. I was like, I need new friends. And I said, I'm going to act on it. And I came right here to this Facebook Live. I was probably sitting right here. And I just said, look, guys, I'm looking for new friends. Can you come to my house for tea? And they came. And from that, I have become connected to the most amazing women. Because the one thing that happened on that day is that my friends did not come. Some of them were not on Facebook Live. So they didn't know that I had made this kind of invitation. But I wasn't looking for them. Because if they were my good friends, they were already my friends. So we were good. We were good wherever we were. What I needed was a life full of people who stimulate my mind, who inspire me, and people who lift me up. Those were the people that I was looking for. And if you are in that space, it doesn't take 100 people to get that. it takes just a couple of people where you can even hang out on Zoom. Some people you might never meet. Like today, I have a whole session for an hour at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock with 4 strangers, one of whom I have been talking to for 3 years every week. I've never met them in person. They are aligned to purpose. They are so invigorating. Every Tuesday morning, I have this amazing 1-hour conversation with these 5 people. And we just talk and iron out, and we are learning and growing and just figuring out what the next best step for us, each one of us, is. And I'm fulfilled. By the time I leave, I'm just like ready to start my day. It is time for you to have the courage to give some people up and walk away and don't carry them anymore. It is absolutely okay that you don't see your good friends every day. Absolutely okay that you don't see them every day. It is absolutely okay to create a new cadence as to when you will connect. And when you connect, connect fully. Connect fully. Like when you speak, be there. There's nothing worse than calling a friend who's distracted, constantly distracted, never pays attention, always about the next call. There's nothing worse than that. Remove that from your life unapologetically. And this is perfect because I'm sure for most of you, the year is going to slow down a little bit, and you're going to have at least one day to write a list of who's in my circle. And just decide, A, I must connect with these folks. I love them so much. They're so uplifting. I love them so much. Put those people in a category. Then there are those who you might have an inappropriate relationship with, like me. When I went to Jacinta's class, I found out that some of my friends were in my life, and they're friends. I think they're friends. Some of my friends were in my life because I thought I could fix them. Like I could help them with their stuff. And so I placed so much value in myself fixing them. And then I realized, that's an energy drainer. And I said, I'm getting out of it. And it was not until I sat in Jacinta's class, just listening I was looking at the slides, and she was talking about codependency. And I was looking and I was like, why is it that there are 12 things on the slide and I have 8? That means I am highly codependent. I'm not even borderline codependent. I'm like highly codependent. I might have had like 8.5, really. Some of them I was getting out on a technicality. And once I looked at those slides, I was like, something has to change here. Something had to change. And I was, honestly speaking, I have spent my life, especially the last 10 years when I have been experiencing this massive mental growth, and I was intentionally designing my life. I had gone to a point where I felt like I was good. I'm good. I get this. I know how to do this. And then I sit in there and I'm just like, okay, most of the relationships that I've been in my life, I have had this need to fix. That is what made me want to be there. It's like I'm needed. So I just get into spaces that I'm not even invited into. I would just open myself up to fix. And I said, no, this is not happening anymore. My energy is reserved for a reciprocal relationship. This one-sided type of thing is not something that I'm willing to go for anymore. And I have to assess how I show up. Am I stepping into spaces where I'm not needed or asked for? Right? And just airing my opinions about them. Who asked you? Nobody asked you, Jean. And I just stepped away. I had to, and for some of them, I'm still thinking. I haven't quite decided how it's going to end. But it's one of those, I'm thinking, but it's just in the back of my mind. It's not in the forefront at all. It'll end up the way it ends up. But it is time. It is actually time for you to sit down and write a list of people in your life and ask yourself, why are they there? What are you getting out of it? From the sense that your behavior might be as inappropriate as mine was, and you still think that you should have good relationships with them. No. Get out early. And number one, when you look at who you surround yourself with, is kind of like an indication of where you're going. Oh, it becomes more urgent. It becomes much more urgent. So guys, seriously, this is important. If you are in a place where people are constantly fighting, there are lots of tears all the time, volatile relationships, where you're like, oh, that's just how they are. No. That's not normal. Experience the peace of having good friends. Experience the peace of having good friends, good people who want the best for you, who are always looking to see, you know what, this will help you, and they send it your way. You might not be the best communicator in the sense that you are constantly in touch. It doesn't matter. People know that you value them by the way you behave when you get a chance to be in their world. Remember, I said 4 of my closest friends, I think we speak 3 times a year with each. I speak 3 times a year with each. And it's always so cool because we don't even think about the fact that it's been 6 months since I spoke to you. We literally continue as if nothing happened. This happened this past Sunday. I just, we were texting, and then I said, hey, she asked me a question, and I was going to text back, and I said, hey, this is a phone call. And she said, oh, I'm available. And I picked up the phone and I called her, and we had this in-depth conversation about that specific thing. And we are in 2 different stations of life, but we are so aligned as friends. That's the inner circle. Then there's community, and the community falls in different stages, different spaces, right? And the community that you create, this is they're almost day-to-day people, but you come in touch with them for different things at different times. That is the space where you want to be really careful how you're using your time with them. When you realize, let me tell you, I said to someone the other day, in fact, I was talking to Jacinta after an incident had happened, and I said, I feel so betrayed. And then we did the lesson. And then when the lesson was over, I realized I wasn't betrayed. If they were your friends, they wouldn't have betrayed you. They're not your friends. Oh, that was a game changer in my life. Game changer. They're not my friends. They're people I know. The problem is I had given them a place that they didn't fit in my life. I'm telling you, that was an eye-opener for me like no other. That is the greatest change I have made in 2022, is when I recognized that some people I was calling friend, and they are not my friend. And that was my responsibility. They're not my friend. I know that. And they did what happens when you just know people. They didn't even know that I have certain boundaries because they're not my friend. They don't know me like that. They didn't even cross. Now that I look at it, they didn't even cross a boundary because I had created none. I had no requirements. I had no guidelines. They didn't know. If I had guidelines, they didn't know. We've never had that conversation. We've never had a boundaries conversation. We've never had this is how we operate conversation. We've never been around there, like seriously. And I realized these are not my friends. That is the greatest lesson of 2022 for me. Oh, I'm definitely a different person, different human being, because I sat in Jacinta's class, right? And, people get different things out of different spaces that they sit in. But for me, that was the lesson that I needed to learn. I needed to learn that some people are not my friends, and it's not a bad thing. They just don't even know how to befriend me because they don't even know me. I have never had that kind of relationship with them. How many of you are doing the same thing? And then you're constantly crying about people doing things to you. They did nothing to you. They were just being themselves. And it's not even bad that they were being themselves. That's the funny part. They did not intentionally go out to do something bad to you because they don't know whether it was bad or good for you because you're not friends. You just happen to know each other, right? I just love this unfoldment of life for me. Hi, Purity. Isn't it like early in your world in California? I think it's kind of early. Really, I'm going to say to you that it's time to surround yourself with people who give you energy, and they are your friends. People who give you energy, you can have relationship with, and they can become your friends. But there's some people who give you energy that will never be your friend. They're just a good person, a good vibrational match for you, but they're not necessarily your friend. What I'm saying is that definition, I think I have like 6,000 something friends on Facebook. And I love the community on Facebook because Facebook has connected me to the most amazing people. But I recognize that majority of them, like 6,000 and something, are not my friend. They're people that I'm connected to. So I cannot have an expectation of how they should treat me when they don't even know me. It's improper. We must take responsibility for the circles in our lives. We must take full responsibility for the circles in our lives. Right? You start with loving yourself first. And then you ask, who is welcome around this perimeter? And if you're in your 20s, you're still exploring. So you have 200 friends. You have like 30 bridesmaids if you're getting married. 30. Who knows 30 people? When you're in your 20s, that's normal. You just have all these friends, all your high school buddies now become. And then you start realizing, no, we have different stations. We have different stations, guys. Right? I'm taking full responsibility for every time I said to someone, they offended me so badly. And now I'm assessing. I'm like, they didn't even know they were offending you. They had no idea. You gave them room and they took it, right? I'm not even mad. Honestly speaking, I am not mad at the people who I called haters. By the way, let me tell you the reason why I recently said that I want haters in my life. Let me tell you why. And it sounds so crazy. I was reading this verse in Psalm 23. And I realized that my table is furnished in the presence of my enemies. I was like, enemies, come. You have to see me get successful. Come on in. I'm kind of weird like that. When I read that, I was like, oh, enemies will sit here and see me. Okay, welcome, enemies. Because it was kind of funny, but I just looked at it for the first time in a very different light. And Onika says her circle of intimate friendships is small by design. Mine, I haven't really paid attention. I didn't design it to be small, but I do not believe any human being can have 10 close friends. Any human being who's doing something of value, I just don't believe they can have 10 close friends. Like 10 close people, 10 like intimate, close relationships, people who know stuff about you. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I never intentionally designed mine, but I just can't imagine. I don't know what kind of time you would have to have that many friends. Purity says 5 if you're lucky. 5 is perfect. I'll take 5 good people in my life. Really, really, 5 good people. And here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not asking people to cut people off. I don't like that cutting off. I'm cutting off. I'm cutting this person off and I'm cutting that person off. What you need to do is cut yourself off. Cut yourself off. No, if you're in the stage of I cut off this person, I cut them off, I cut them off. There's something wrong with you. Understand that. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm saying invite in the people who give you energy. And a lot of people who have taken Design Your Life with me call me from time to time and they say, you know what? My friends disappeared. And I'm always like, they were not your friends. They were never your friends. My friends disappeared. I was like, those people who were around you disappeared. Your friends are now in. Okay? Your friends are now in, right? And Purity says an odd number works for me because we sometimes have to vote. What are you voting? What are you voting? Right? Cutting people off is unkind. Oh, I have done my share of cutting people off. I was unkind. But these days I am love and I am joy and I am peace and I am patience and I'm kindness and goodness. So I'm not cutting people anymore. I wake up every morning and I say, okay, so how am I going to be peace? How am I going to be patience? How am I going to be kindness? How am I going to be gentleness? And sometimes if you catch me off on gentleness, just know that that's my day, maybe to be faithful and have self control. So please give me grace. Don't just be calling all the fruits of the Spirit and expecting me to be able to exhibit all of them in one day. I choose a couple that I can work on every single day, right? I just feel like, in all honesty, I know I'm joking a lot, but what I'm saying to you is I discovered while complaining about people who had betrayed me that they didn't know me to betray me. I now I look back, they sincerely did not know me. The challenge was that I let them in a space that was intimate for me, and I opened it up wide, and they were in there just hanging out, and they were in a playground, and they just played with my toys. They played with my toys and my mind and everything. But I didn't say anything. I hadn't created, they had no way of knowing that they were even playing with my toys. Right. And so I was just like, no, that's not, I'm no longer going to be that upset about things that I created, the negativity that I created myself. I'm just saying, invite your people in, invite your people in, and you know your people. And if you don't know my people, call me, I'll tell you. I can give you a link to my calendar so we can talk about that. And by the way, this conversation came as a result of a consultation that I had yesterday. And I recognized that I have created a space where I have healthy, self aware people in my life. Healthy, self aware people. I don't talk to them every day. I don't. And they don't care to hear from me every day, first of all. They are busy doing other things, right? They don't care to hear from me every day. That is not where they want to be. My friends want to have a moments. We have moments where we talk, we are working on things. Sometimes it's work related, sometimes they're asking for fellowship, sometimes we're just asking to support someone else and all that. But for me, I feel like in the last 5 years, I have been moving towards this direction and there's no turning back. By the way, surround yourself with people who give you energy and not drain you. That's a quote directly from the queen named Oprah. And Oprah, you know, has two friends, right? Gail and Maria Shriver. Everybody else is an extra. So if you think Oprah is your friend, just understand that you're an extra. She said it. She has two friends, Gail and Maria Shriver. Those are her two closest friends, right? So when someone who has seemed to live life so effortlessly is giving us that advice, let's take it. Let's take the wisdom of our elders, right? Yeah. Jacinta, I was just talking about you because you know you taught me everything I need to know about betrayal when I was crying to you that I was betrayed. And then I realized that I was not betrayed, I was codependent. I was shocked. I was so shocked. I was so shocked. And Jacinta has a class coming up in January that I highly recommend. I haven't done my testimonial yet because I still need to think how I'm going to write it. Because I mean, I learned so many things from that class. But also, let me go ahead and say this. I am an extremely good student. Thank you. I'm so proud of myself. I was committed to learning from Jacinta. Ask her. I used to show up at 5 till 12 every week. I was sitting. When she logged on, I was already there like, what are we learning today? When I say I'm in a class, I'm in the class. I'm not just this person who comes into people's spaces to just sit around and just read the notes in the class. No, no, no. And then I would go back and sit there with my homework. And every week I just sit there looking and seeing what Jacinta's slide says. And I'd be like, oh my God, there are 20 things on this slide and I have 19. What do I do? But when I finished it, I was just like, okay, I have completed this class, but now I have the information. Now, what's about to happen is I am taking the slides from the class and I'm about to practice and repeat the lessons. Why? The difference between me in Jacinta's class and me out of Jacinta's class is in Jacinta's class, I just happened to take a class and I learned some lessons. Now I want those lessons to be embedded in my life. Okay? I want those lessons to be embedded in my life. Many people are coming into coaching classes and they're gathering information, but they change nothing. And then they blame the coach. By the way, I take no blame because I know my system works. The reason I know it works is because people come in and transform their lives. And I know that it works, right? And so for me, when I'm teaching this lesson, when I teach this lesson on Facebook Live today, it is something that I'm actively practicing, assessing and assessing and assessing and assessing. But first, before I could do anything, I wanted to see who was engaging with me. And now, since I think I started Jacinta's class, that was the first class that she taught on codependency. I believe it was the first or the second. And by week 2, I was like, oh, let me observe what is going on in my circle. Am I just fixing people or are we friends? Because I realized that was my agenda. And then it doesn't help that I'm a coach, because I was coaching even in places where nobody asked me to coach, nobody paid me. But I was over there coaching, just coaching. No, stop that. No longer doing that. No longer doing that. So now what has happened is I have put guardrails around me. And now I know what my guardrails are. Because number 2, I don't even have that many people I'm dealing with that much anymore. I haven't been to a lot of social gatherings intentionally because I needed to assess what was going on within me. Some people just haven't seen me since August, and they might not see me simply because I wanted to go within and ask myself, what is it that I'm creating? Right? I created monsters, just monsters. And I'm taking full responsibility for it because now I'm inviting energy and the energy matches my energy and it is aligned to my soul. And my soul is my thinker, my feeler, my chooser. How I think, how I feel, how I choose. The uniqueness of Jean Adero. And I'm okay with it. Absolutely okay with it. I invite you to choose the same for yourself. Right? And Jacinta by the way, Jacinta is here, Joanne is here. They're like teaching a whole class in the comments. So get your free coaching. Purity is here, teaching a whole class in the comments. These are my people. These are definitely my people. Good women. These are good women. Onika is another one. She just starts something. The circle of intimate friendship is small by design. Keep it that way, right? And Lucy says, great advice to enter 2023. Yeah. This is the best time to do it because you have time. Things slow down. 1/1/23 is a time when there's something about 1/1 that you want to do differently. For me, I started 11/29, which is kind of weird that way. When it hits, I do it. But a 1/1/20 something, it's a good time to start. So yeah, give yourself this gift. In fact, even today, I was getting people off my calendar simply because I realized I forgot to block my calendar, right? And then I just thought to myself, no, it's time to come back to me. And I just contacted them and said, hey, can we do this differently? Why? Because I learned how to ask for what I need. Could we do this differently? There's some that are coming up that are not what I want, but I have to figure out how to handle that. But when I know exactly what I want, I ask for it. And sometimes I just demand it. I just tell you how it's going to go. It's my life. I get to lead it. I get to choose who I hang out with and how I deal, right? So for those of you who are struggling with boundaries and friends, no. Boundaries, go to Jacinta, go to Joanne. I'm not the person to teach that class because sometimes I'm in people's worlds. Every now and then I get it, right? But then, if indeed you want a new way of living, is one thing that I have discovered, and I used it for myself first before I offered it to others, and it is a roadmap. I have discovered that some of you are fantastic in one area of your life and the others just don't work. It is time for you to design your life. And if that is you, I'm going to post a link at the end of this Facebook Live. Sometimes I'm not able to do it in the subject, but I'll do it in the comments. You're welcome to reach out to me. I have a new class starting January 31st, and usually I have several classes usually. So there's a couple of classes of the same class. So if one gets full, you're welcome to join the next one. I'm running more than about 3 or 4 classes in a period. So I really, really, really urge you to number one, join Design Your Life, and truly come up with a roadmap for your life so that you can start tackling area by area by area. I was talking to one lady yesterday, and when she came to me, her biggest problem was she needed a job. So yesterday, I was telling her, I remember when finding a job was your biggest problem. I wish we could go back there, because now, you see, the thing is, we think work and money are the most important things. They're not. They're not. It was interesting because I was able to say to her when we were talking, so at the time she thought that she needed money. So she needed this new job. I need a new job. I need a new job. So we worked on it and she got a new job. She imagined the job, she got it. And then she got paid so much money. She was so confused. She was like, now she's overworking because she is struggling with deserving the money that she got. Right? And I said, I remember when the problem was finding you a job. I wish we could go back to the easier problems. And she was laughing. She was really laughing, because it is not a job or money that you want. What you want is yourself. You want a spirit, a mind, and a body that embodies, it matches your inside. You want to match everything. Your outside matches your inside. So you want your family, work, and money to match the inside that you feel, but not the inside that you have. So for her, we went straight. I asked her, what do you want? And she said, oh, I want a new job. And she needed a new job because it was killing her spirit. And she got it. And she has money and she can buy things now. And she can go places. She has access. But that's not what she wanted, because now she's struggling with things like worthiness. She feels like, oh, I'm overworking. I'm constantly doing more. And we're like, have you tried being more of yourself? So that's what she's coming back for. Right? So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Joanne has a class coming up. So yes. This is really cool. I'm looking forward to the holidays. I love Christmas. I don't do anything. I don't have gifts to buy. I buy nothing. Like nothing. I buy no Christmas gifts ever. Right? I don't go shopping. In fact, it was so funny yesterday. I was like, we need to return these things to IKEA before people start returning stuff. I had purchased some things that I needed for my house. And Christmas is just not a thing that I do like that. Right? And so I do hope that you find a way to slow it down. That is one of my biggest goals. Today I had all this stuff to do. Then I decided there's a lesson in imagination that I want to learn. And so I'm going to cancel everything and do that. And hopefully I can help you with imagining a new life for yourself as well. So I will see you on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. For those of you in my class, my free class, people who have taken my class have a free class right now that I'm doing on Fridays at noon. You are welcome to come in on Friday at noon. I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you on the sixth sense and intuition. That's going to be amazing. For those of you who are in my daily challenge, I'm loving the challenge. I'm like doing the challenge. I'm giving you the challenge and I'm doing the challenge, right? And look at Beatrice. She's like, I landed here miraculously because I need this. By coincidence, that all these great lady coaches are just Jays. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Beatrice, welcome. For those of you who are doing the challenge, I'm absolutely loving the challenge. I was able to reframe it because you know how I do things naturally because I created them for myself, but I had never put them in order for you to learn. And so doing this challenge, I was able to take out and teach you everything that I'm doing for myself. And I was able to organize it. So now that it's organized, I'm like also in the organization of it, and I love it. I hope you, I know you are enjoying it because I keep hearing from you, and there are people who are saying how it is actually centering you. I went back to the basics. Most of you know that it's your spirit that needs oxygen right now. Most people have forgotten who God is, and I don't care what God is to you. You get to choose your God. And for me, I get to show you that there's another way, that if you're not connected to your source, you're wasting your time. First of all, there's another lesson there that's coming for me that God owns everything, like everything. None of it is yours. You're just God's manager. So that's really a good lesson that I'm learning, and really just growing in that, like grounding my feet in the idea that truly God is everything. It's like God is like all of everything, right? So continue with the challenge. The challenge will continue until December the 31st. And I hope it is something that you will carry on for the rest of your life. I'm not doing a challenge just so that you can come into my world. I hope that this is going to be how you live, right? And now this week we are practicing the steps, but I'm also infusing lessons about how you should think while you're journaling, right? And so I hope that's helpful to you. And then on Saturday morning, we're going to have a session for those in the challenge at 10 a.m. So I'm curious to find out how it's going for you. And that's a robust conversation that we have on Saturday mornings. And I hope to see you there. And I always say this, turn on your cameras. I'm telling you, there's another accountability level with a camera on that I'm telling you, one day you listen to me, turn on your cameras. Like join, have your camera on, ready, journal and good pen in place, and take notes. Some of the gems that ladies drop in this group are gems that you want to hear, because it's like a conversation. Yeah, and Purity says camera on and looking pretty. Purity doesn't like it when people show up on camera looking like death. Because Purity dresses up to come to Zoom calls. Like she has to look a certain way. She has to present herself well. So yeah, come on, looking pretty, right? I'm telling you. So Betty is saying, so where do amateurs start first class? What I'll do, much as I had said last week that I think we are done adding new people to the challenge, because there'll be another challenge coming up. The way I'm doing the challenge is the instructions are at the bottom. I'm keeping the instructions at the bottom of the email so that you can just join at any time. But I'm going to post it on this Zoom so that you can join and receive an email every evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing well with that now since I forgot on Saturday. You can't go wrong with the classes, Beatrice. Yeah, I'll definitely send you a link so that we can talk. I'll respond to your comment, and I can help you based on what it is that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and do this. The one thing you've got to realize is this: coaching has been available across the world since time immemorial. But the coaching that we're doing focused on women of African descent has not been there. I did not go to a coach who truly understood me. She understood me. She's an expert coach. But I felt that we were constantly clashing because of culture. Okay? Jacinta, Joanne, Purity, Bira, everybody, Ayana, those are culturally relevant coaches. That's what we are doing here at I Am Africa, right? And then Betty, there's an I Am Africa page. You might want to join that, okay? Because I see some people come straight to the Design Your Life page, then I can't let you in because you're not in my class, right? So, yeah, so please understand that these ladies I work with are, and I mean, there's, y'all don't understand how lucky I am. Like, these coaches are my friends. Sometimes I talk to like Joanne, and then I realize I think I owe her money. Like, we have this whole thing where I'm just working out what's in my head, and I'm like, I think I might owe Joanne money, right? So, so for real, for real, for real. This is a good space to be in. This is a good space to be in. I have talked for too long. Let me go. I need to prepare for my call at 9:15. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Joanne says we all owe her money because when Purity calls, we have a coaching session. Joanne calls, we have a coaching session. You call Jacinta. I'm like, what about it? In fact, I almost texted Jacinta yesterday to tell her that I'm an elevated woman. I get so proud of myself when I practice what I was taught in the class. I was like, I am an elevated woman. Let me text Jacinta. Then I think I started doing something else and I forgot. But guys, this space is a lot of fun when you decide to engage. And then the thing is, you also have cool friends. So I know once you get into the space, you'll bring more cool people. And then we'll just have more people to play with, you know. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Just by the way, please grab this on a screenshot. Jacinta said, "Of course you are an elevated woman, Jean." And Joanne said, Purity is collecting the fees for all the free conversations that Joanne has with us sometimes as other coaches. And she solves our problems without even knowing. Lucy says she owes Joanne too. Joanne, you're providing free services. Right? Anyway, ladies, have a wonderful day. Love you all. And I'll see you guys on Thursday morning. And then again on Friday, some of you. And then on Saturday for the Facebook Live. And then on Saturday again at 10 o'clock. So I'm looking forward. Have a wonderful day. Bye.